Thanks very much, Rachel. Right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this meeting of Barrow Planning Committee. This is a virtual meeting to do our planning agenda, seeing we can't meet still. May I first remind you of some domestic arrangements. It is important that all participants conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. Please put your mobile phones on silent. Participants must ensure their microphones, read that. Microphones are muted throughout the meeting. If you wish to speak, you must raise your hand in the raise hand facility in Zoom and speak when you're invited to. Please do not interrupt other speakers. Members are reminded they should not have any alternative communications open. If a member loses the connection to the meeting, we will adjourn for 10 minutes to assist them in reconnecting. I would like to remind everyone this meeting is being broadcast live on YouTube and will be recorded. To vote on matters, I will confirm the recommendation and request a move and seconder. I will hand over to Democratic Service Officer to conduct a roll call of votes. Right, we'll get on with the agenda. We've got no members of the public to speak, so we'll go straight on to apologies. I think everybody's here, aren't they, Paula?
Yes, thanks, Chair. Everybody is here. I'll just do a roll call of members and officers anyway.
Okay.
So if you could just respond by saying present, please, for the members first. Councillor Anne Thompson.
Present.
Colin Thompson.
Present.
Assood.
Present.
Burley.
Present.
Edwards.
Present.
Gaughan.
Present.
Hall.
Present.
Husband.
Present.
McEwen.
Present.
Mooney.
Present.
Knott.
Present.
And Seward. Thank you. And the officers, if you could just respond with your full name and job title, please. Jason.
Jason Hipkiss, Development Services Manager, present.
Maureen.
Maureen Smith, Principal Planning Officer.
And Charles.
Charles Wilton, Principal Planning Officer.
That's everyone. Thanks, Chair. Chair, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I think we'll be all sleeping and saying that in our sleep, won't we? You're on mute, you're on mute. Never mind. Delegations, urgent items, I haven't received any. Delegations to receive notice from members who may wish to move any delegated matter. Non-delegated, haven't received any. Admission of public and press, everything's in part 1. Declarations of interest, anybody got any interest to declare? No.
Just the usual, Chair, just the usual county ones, thank you.
The county ones for the county councillors, that's Derek.
Yeah, thank you.
That's fine. Thank you.
Right, do you agree I confirm the minutes? I will go in at some point and sign them all. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
There is no public participation today. Do you agree to note the delegated approvals that have been came out with the agenda?
Agreed.
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 So we go on now to the planning application booklets. which is Booklet 1. We'll do West Point House, Solway Drive first. And can I remind you that there is amended conditions in the extra information that came out on Friday, so we will be voting on the amended conditions, not the conditions actually in the booklet. Okay. Who's doing this one?
Myself.
All right, Charles.
Okay, Chair.
Yep, get on with it.
Right, many members will be familiar with West Point House. It was built as a care home many years ago and was operated by Cumbria County Council. More recently, it's been run as accommodation aimed at the business community. And the proposal is to expand the offer by providing holiday accommodation. And as part of that, this application proposes 8 camping pods. And these camping pods would be located in what in effect is the back garden of West Point House. Now, the garden is surrounded by open land and woodland, and the whole of this area, including where the pods are proposed, is allocated as a green wedge. And the council has a policy, a local plan policy, of protecting the openness of green wedges. So a key issue for the committee is whether these pods will harm the openness of the green wedge or not. Now, when the application was submitted, it was for 10 pods, and some of these were located quite close to the boundaries. And I had some reservations about that. And the pods have been moved into the site. And as a consequence of that, 2 have been lost. So as I said earlier, it's now for 8. And I think now the pods will not appear conspicuous at all. I think they'll be absorbed into the trees and shrubbery on site. And I feel now that the proposal will not conflict with council's policy. I should add that an objection was received to the application, and that was from a local resident who was concerned about additional traffic in Solway Drive. But my view on that is that the amount of traffic from the application is likely to be quite minor, and I don't feel it will be appreciable in the area. There have been 2 letters of support, one from the Cumbria Tourist Board and one from Cumbria Tourism, which is supporting the holiday or tourist aspects of the scheme. And just a final point, that the conditions have been revised, or refined is perhaps a better word, and the updated conditions are in the extra information book. So the recommendation is for approval with the amended conditions in the extra information book. Thank you, Chair.
Right, thank you. I finally got my cursor to the mouse mute button. Right, any members of the committee got any questions? I've got Les.
Yeah, it's just around those new houses being built there. What's the impact of them on this particular spot? Because from what I remember, they come right up against it, don't they? Against that boundary.
Is that for me to answer?
Yeah, please.
The new housing is on allocated land allocated for housing.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the green wedge. So this is slightly different, that the housing was on allocated housing land, whereas the pods would be located within the green wedge. But But I don't think one harms the other. It's just that the policy basis is different.
Yeah, it's just that from what I recall and what I've seen, those new houses actually will abut right onto that boundary, don't they?
No, Chair, no. The pods are further back.
Right.
So no, the housing adjoins West Point House, the building itself. The
So
pods, yeah,
okay.
the pods are located in the back garden, so that's going further back.
Right.
So the houses adjoin West Point House,
Yeah.
but won't adjoin the camping pods.
Okay.
This won't compromise the rest of the green wedge, will it, Charles?
You need to make a decision on whether you feel these pods will harm the openness of the green wedge. And I think that, bearing in mind that they're quite small, these units, they're only 5 metres long, 3 metres wide, less than 3 metres high. They're built of wood. One often sees them in, like next to farms, you see them in the Lake District now, often associated with farm bed and breakfast type operations. So I don't feel they will have the same impact as, say, new build housing would. If this was an application for housing, I think almost certainly it would be recommended for refusal. But these are quite small camping pods, which I think will assimilate with the landscape. I don't think it will set a precedent for housing.
Okay, that was my worry, Charles. Thank you. Right, does anybody else? No, I've got no hands up. So can I have a mover and a seconder of the amended recommendations in the extra information, please?
I move the recommendations, Chair.
I'll second it, Anne.
Right, do you want to take a roll call, Paula?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Members, if you could just respond with for, against or abstain, please. Councillor Anne Thompson.
For.
Colin Thompson.
For.
Assood.
For.
Burley.
For.
Edwards.
For.
Gorn.
For.
Hall.
Abstain.
Husband. Husband.
For.
McEwen.
For.
Mooney.
For.
Not.
For.
And Seward. Chair, that's carried with 11 for and 1 abstention.
Okay, thanks very much, Paula. Right, we'll move on to the next item, which is 73 Cavendish Street, which is alterations and change of use to provide first and second floor living accommodation. Oh, in association with ground floor takeaway, which is retrospective, so I guess they've already done this. Who's doing this one, please?
That's me, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. This application relates to the provision of residential accommodation to the first and second floor above an existing takeaway use. The takeaway was approved in 2018 and that's already in operation. So we're not considering the takeaway as part of this application. It's just the residential use to the upper floors. There's an internal staircase with the application and other general amenity concerns. So condition 2 recommends that the residential accommodation can only be occupied by an employee in the ground floor takeaway use, and the application on that basis is recommended for approval. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Committee, anybody got anything on this one? So I've got no hands up. Okay, have I got a mover and seconder of the recommendations, please?
Move the recommendations, Chair.
I'll second it, Anne.
Okay, Paula, can we have a roll call, please?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Again, if members could just respond with for, against or abstain. Councillor Anne Thompson.
For.
Colin Thompson.
For.
Assood.
For.
Burley.
4.
Edwards,
4.
Gone,
4.
Hall,
4,
Husband,
Four.
thank you, McEwen,
4,
Mooney,
4.
Not,
4.
and Seward.
4.
That's unanimously carried, Chair.
Right, thank you, Paula. Right, we move on to our third and final one, which I did think until the extra information come out was going to be our first virtual refusal, but anyway, seemingly it isn't. Okay, this is for Home Bargains Walney Road, which is a refurbishment of retail units to facilitate amalgamation of units A and B, comprising external alterations, including one new shop front and customer entrance feature, trolley park, revised car parking, and a planted area with associated works. So who's doing this one, please?
That's me, Chair.
Right, okay, thanks, Maureen.
Thank you. This application relates to upsizing of the existing Home Bargains unit on Walney Road into the next door premises. And alongside that, some external works are proposed as well in terms of a new shop front and feature frontage tower to the premises. There's some introduction of some widened car parking spaces within the car park and the provision of some electric vehicle charging points as well. When the application came in, I must admit I was quite concerned about the frontage alterations, and that led to the initial recommendation of refusal on that basis. The applicants didn't feel able to amend the design at that time, and we really were left with no option but to recommend refusal. Since then, however, amended plans have been submitted and those were circulated with extra information. The application site has got quite a complex planning history, which is set out in the report, so I won't go through that today, but suffice it to say I'm happy now with the amended plans that have come in. They substantially reduce the size of the entrance feature tower compared to what was submitted originally. That's reduced by 6.1 metres in width, and it's now doesn't project above the roof of the building as was previously submitted. So on that basis, I'm now happy to recommend that the application is approved, subject to the conditions in the extra information document. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Right, committee. Bill, Councillor McEwen. You're on mute, Bill.
I'm very sorry. I've no problems with this. I think they've listened to the officers' concerns and done what they had to do. And with the new amendments, and there's some charging points which I welcome, I move the recommendation, Chair.
Thank you. Is that
I'll second it, Anne.
Okay, thanks, Anita. Anybody else on the committee wish to speak? No, well, it's been moved and seconded. The recommendations in the extra information booklet. Do you want to take a roll call, Paula, please?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Again, if members could just respond with for, against or abstain. Councillor Anne Thompson.
For.
Colin Thompson.
Four.
Sood.
4.
Burley.
4.
Edwards.
4.
Gone.
4.
Hall.
4,
Husband.
Four.
McEwen.
4,
Mooney.
4.
Not,
4.
and Seward. Sorry, Seward.
4.
Thank you, Chair. That's unanimously agreed.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's the end of the meeting, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, thank you for your attendance. And
well done.
we will see you next time. Bye-bye.